Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Level M Diecast bringing you Matchbox batch review. This is the S case. This is mix number 8 for 2023. Kind of go through these in number order. This is number 3 of 100. This is the AutoZam AZ1. This is a brand new casting for 2023, debuting in blue. Not sure if this will come with any interior variations, but hopefully not. Next one up in the batch, another brand new casting, number 7 of 100, 1970 Honda N600. This is off-road style. Definitely Matchbox flavor to it for sure. But I like that one. Does include the newer off-road wheels that don't get used all that often. Next one up in the mix, this one number 19 of 100, 1936 Ford Coupe. This was a new casting last year in black. This one coming out in a bit of a dull red, which is pretty nice. It's actually a period correct coloring. Next one up, 38 of 100. This is the International Workstar Ambulance. It says MBX County EMS on the side. Is a generic deco, but a licensed model. So that one looks pretty good. That one is a plastic body, unfortunately. Next one up in the mix, 2019 Jeep Renegade. This is number 40 of 100. In white, a bit of a pearl white. This was a new casting several years ago. We've seen about 4 or 5 versions of this guy thus far, all been in just standard colors. New casting that debuted last year, number 44 of 100. This is the 2021 Ford Mach-E, or Mustang Mach-E. This is in a really, really nice gloss primer gray. Very, very nice color. This one's seen quite a few versions released thus far, even though it was a new model last year, in the last case of the year. Ice Cream King, this is our first and only generic in this batch, but I think this one's perfectly fine. This one in pink, number 59 of 100. Nice to see this one carry on. This has been highly modified from its original version. Another one here, Polaris Razor, number 76 of 100. This one in black. They've all been in a black kind of color with some deco on the side. We'll see what deco's on the side of this one and check it out. They've been pretty consistent on those. And then the last standard model in the mixed release. This is number 90 of 100. This is the Tesla Model X. This is a new color in a kind of a graphite gray. This was a new model last year. They make way too many Teslas. However, if you find this batch at Target, you will be bestowed with the fourth red edition of the year. This is the Mercedes-Benz 220 SE sedan. Again, this is the number 4 of the year. See right there, 4 of 6. So we got 2 more coming this year at Target. But let's crack these open and take a look. All right, everybody, we'll kick this off. We'll run through these in basically the same order we looked at them before. 1992 Mazda AutoZam AZ1. Brand spanking new casting for 2023. This one debuts in blue. This particular one is left-hand drive. right-hand drive. I don't believe they ever made the AutoZam in left-hand drive. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not too familiar. Obviously, AutoZam, not something that was sold in the U.S., but it still looks pretty good. I like that Matchbox is doing some more obscure stuff on the JDM side. They definitely are severely lacking compared to the rest of the diecast community for sure. At least those of whom are actually trying to make JDM stuff. But I do like the fact that they are shooting for some obscure things, which makes it a nice, good mix. This casting looks pretty good. The whole canopy, of course, is part of the window, so it is just clear plastic. I think the details on this model look fantastic, though. Base details. There is your base details. Of course, 1365 is your man number. The day code on these is S14. So, not too shabby. All right, next one up. Another brand spanking new casting. Of course, 1970 Honda N600 off-road. This one looks pretty cool. Of course, you know, Matchbox flavor. Matchbox is always doing things on their own accord, not doing the average stuff that everybody else does, and I think that that's good. That's one of the things that makes Matchbox what they are. You know, if Hot Wheels made this, they'd probably make a little bit more streetcar style rather than something like this, but I like it. I like the fact that they're using the off-road wheel. The casting's a little bit on the bigger side for obvious purposes. It's a big blister to fill up. N600 is a pretty small car, but this one looks pretty good. Some integrated fog lights on the top and stuff like that, deco on the side. Looks a very race car, which is pretty nice, and of course those front tampo prints, which really look good with the grille and stuff like that. It brings out the detail in the grille. Again, this is a brand spanking new casting, so take a look at the base here. 1347 is your man number. Looks pretty good. S13 on that particular one. All right, not a brand new casting this year, but a new one last year. Not a huge fan of this casting. It's very big. It's enormously large. I feel like they kind of made it big to fill up the blister. I think they made it a little bit too big. It's actually big enough that the wheels look too small for the casting. It's a good casting. It's just the scale is just way too big. Of course, you know, 1936 Ford in a kind of a dull red, which I actually think the color is quite nice. The color is very era specific, which looks pretty good. Chrome bumpers, because it has a chrome base. You see the side steps there are part of the interior, so they are color break with the black. And then, of course, just the small disc hub wheels. I don't know if they can get the bigger disc hub wheels in there, because I think they'd look potentially a little bit better. But just basic tampos on this one, not too shabby. Do like that one for sure. All right, next one up. This is the International Workstar Ambulance. This is a generic deco. Not a licensed deco, but we've had quite a few licensed decos on this one, so we can live without it. Unfortunately, it is a plastic body, metal base. The casting has always been like this since its debut. There is no interior or anything on it. It does have window and stuff in there, though, but there's no actual interior in the model, which I don't really feel like it needs an interior, but definitely doesn't look good being a plastic body. You can always tell. Deco on the side looks pretty good, though, for being a generic. Definitely looks realistic. I really like the fact that it's yellow. Nice break from just your typical white or red with ambulances. I'd really like to see a black one, some black and gold. That would look pretty good as well. So maybe they'll switch to that in the near future. All right, moving on to the Jeep Renegade. Nothing fancy here. Nothing out of the ordinary. Every single one of these releases has been a basic color. There is a new Jeep coming out called the Jeep Avenger. I think that might be the new version of the Renegade. I don't know if the Renegade is surviving, but I know Matchbox is making that Jeep Avenger. Whether it replaces this casting or not, I don't know. Only time will tell. But regardless, this is a good version. It does have a plastic roof, which I think is fine. Always had full front and rear decos on it, and always has had the 5 spokes on it, I believe. But I think it looks good. It looks good. This is a good casting. And of course, Matchbox makes pretty much every Jeep ever. Matchbox's partnership with Jeep is very strong. All right, next one up, Ford Mustang Mach-E in a fantastically awesome gloss primer gray. I love this color so much. I think this color looks good on pretty much any car in existence. Really glad that they put it on a model. I think it looks fantastic. This is definitely the best version of the Mach-E thus far. We've seen a few versions. It's been a 5-pack this year. We've also seen the debut last year, which was in metallic red. Now we have this one. It will also be in a taxi version this year as well. So we will get 2 versions of this Mach-E, which is very interesting. Very interesting to get a couple in a year. But that's pretty much what Matchbox does these days. Not too bad. Full front and rear tampos on this one. Does have the D10 wheels on there. We've seen this with 5 spokes as well, but I think the D10s look fantastic. It's a good casting. Not a big fan of the car itself in real life, but this casting's fantastic. Decos look pretty good on this one as well, so kudos to the Matchbox team on that. All right, moving on to our only generic in the entire mix, our Ice Cream King. This casting has been modified a few times over its lifespan. Used to be somewhat metal and plastic. Now it's all plastic body. Very interesting when it was new. To have the metal and the plastic split in the body was just weird. But it's all plastic now. I think it looks perfectly fine. Still looks the exact same as it's always looked. I think this one's fine for being plastic because, it's an ice cream truck. They're always going to have some outlandish colors, and I think that helps with the plastic. It's a lot easier to do plastic than some crazy colors with paint. But this one looks pretty good. Of course, generic, not licensed or anything like that. It says good googly cones on the side. Very, very, very nice. Very interesting casting. And definitely a very popular one. A lot of people like that one for sure. All right, moving on to the Polaris Razor. Now, we have gotten several of these Polaris Razors, and they're all black. This one is nice gloss black. Normally, they are a matte or satin finish black. But this one is nice super gloss black, which looks fantastic. We've had a lot of red prints on the side as well. This one has gray and red. We've had a lot of blue prints over the previous generations, but this one does have gray and red, which I think looks fantastic. I like the kind of mix up with it. A little bit of gray print on those utility 6 spokes. Looks pretty good. Matches well with the casting. It's a good casting for its size. It's just there's a lot of things about a ATV like this where you can't really get the details in there because of how they have to assemble the casting. And then one of the things is, of course, all the suspension and travel work and all that kind of stuff. You just have big blotchy base plastic and stuff like that. So it doesn't look as good. But this particular version of this casting looks pretty good. So casting's been around for a little bit. All right, of course, we have to have more electric cars. Of course, we've already seen the Mach-E. This is the Tesla Model X. Of course, it does say 0 emissions on the back, which seems to be pretty common on most of the Tesla decos. Full front and rear decos, just very simple. Whole canopy part is plastic, so you can see all the way through it. Of course, this is the Model X. Doesn't have opening doors, but they do make one in the moving parts. Should you want a Tesla Model X with the gull wings, you can definitely get that from moving parts. But this one looks pretty good. I like the black D10s. I mean, the deco and stuff looks pretty good on this, but again, not a new cast or anything like that. Just a new version. Nothing fancy there, but we'll take it. We'll take it. All right, last one in the mix, of course, is the Red Edition. This is at Target. These are very difficult to find this year, all of a sudden. The first two, of course, we started out with the Camaro. Then they moved on to the Mustang. The Bugatti was after that. And now we are at the Mercedes-Benz. Next one up will be a Porsche 911. And then the last one to finish out the year will be a Ford Raptor. Those ones are going to be difficult to find. Target is very, very difficult to get stock. And these are, of course, exclusive to Target. As far as the deco goes, nice little race style on the side. Of course, it has number 220 because it is a Mercedes-Benz 220. A little bit of print on the back as well with some silver outlining. Looks good. I like that. A little bit of prints on the front fender. Says Mercedes-Benz. Some colors on there. Has your German flag on there. I like that one. I like this one a lot. Looks pretty good. Black wheels on it. Definitely a nice race flavor to it. This one definitely has a little bit extra print on it compared to the Mustang they did this year, which basically had almost no print on it whatsoever. But that one looks pretty good. So we're going to roll out with that Red Edition. That is the mix number 8. That is, of course, the S Case for 2023. 3 more mixes to go to finish the year out. And we'll see what brings us. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Level 'em Diecast.